I'm an educator for a living, so I'm a deputy principal of a high school, and I teach and work at a university. Ramadan, I think it's a special season. The Prophet ﷺ refers to it as a month of barakah, a month of blessing. It's really two things that I think come to mind, and both of them are from the words of the Prophet ﷺ. It's the month of the Quran, and it's the month of charity. Ramadan is special because it's a time of family. You are eating together before the sun rises and after the sun sets. Everybody wakes up for suhoor. Everybody connects on a very different level. It does require balance. You have to follow a very strict schedule. So I have a very strict day planner. I make sure that I meet my meetings, my deadlines, my coursework, my teaching, and also time for myself. I think one of the most under-neglected ibadah that many of us overlook is dhikr. And it's a very simple process that you can be amongst hundreds of people, but you're with Allah. And it's just making a small movement of the tongue that not anybody needs to even hear it. And there's nothing better than saying La ilaha illallah. The Prophet ﷺ said, خَيْرُ مَا قَالَ النَّاسُ وَالنَّبِيُّونَ. The greatest statement any man has said or any prophet has said is La ilaha illallah. And of the greatest dhikr as well is the remembrance of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam by saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. I think it's something that we need to rediscover. In the last 10 days, it becomes very busy with the family, with the kids, just pushing them towards their obedience of Allah. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he would wake up his family in the last 10 nights. You want them to do well. And it's not about just you doing well, you want to make sure that they do well as well. What makes Eid special? It's not just the family, but I think it's the release of Allah's mercy. That you've sacrificed so much for the month, and then Allah is giving you a gift of happiness. And that's really the meaning of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ. A believer has two moments of happiness when they're fasting. One when we meet Allah, and one when we break our fast, meaning that the day of Eid. Not just at the moment of eating, but the day of Eid. It's, alhamdulillah, I finished such an amazing ibadah that lasted for so long. May Allah accept it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's another blessed day of Ramadan, mashallah. I hope Ramadan has been treating you well, because mine has been great, alhamdulillah. So today I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process of making my signature Dafaduka recipe. I'm Jamila Lawal. Welcome to my Ghee Diaries. In my signature Dafaduka, I'm going to be having dried fish in it and some fried meat. I mean, who doesn't love, things like this in Ramadan? So, of course, there's going to be the dawa. What's Dafaduka without the dawa? And then rice and beans, some vegetable oil, and tomatoes, pepper, and all that's going to go in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my beans and my rice and get it into the pot. I already have some water boiling in the pot. So once I'm done rinsing this, I'm just going to come back and throw it all in. I'll wash this really good to get any leftover dirt in it. And then I'll just drain it a little bit. Okay. So this is good. And then we'll get this in the pot. Oh, my water is boiling already. Okay, so this goes in here. And then we'll go to the beans now. And you can actually cook your beans in a pressure pot if you have one, because it really hastens the cooking process of the beans. Anyone that works for you. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to blend my tarugu, the tomatoes, the tasei, the albasa. Just enough. Okay, so I just want to cut them in big chunks so that it can blend really quickly when it gets into the blender. And then my tatase, split it in two and just get this out. Yeah. Get this in the blender, put this one here, and then I'll add some water. It will blend really nicely. So this is good. Some water in the blender, and this is just good. We don't want it too light, so okay. So we're just gonna pulse it. We don't want it very smooth, so roughly blended. All right, so this is perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give my rice and beans a look. Oh, this is done already, and my rice too is done. This is cooked already. So I'm going to take it over to the sink and then drain it with the rice and the beans, and then we'll get back to making the sauce for our signature Dafaduka. All right, this is done. Okay. So all right. Okay. Okay, I think we got this. All right, so this is done. And then my rice, okay? Okay, so. All right, so strain the rice also. Okay, so now it's time to make the sauce for the Dafaduka. All right, so this comes back here. Okay. So I'm just going to let the water dry up, and then we'll add a little bit of vegetable oil and of course my kaya, which has been blended already. For my dried fish, you just have to ensure that you wash your dried fish really well. I'm going to wash this over in the sink quickly. So now my pot is hot, and I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil, Dafaduka. When it's ready, imagine having spoonfuls of your Dafaduka with dried fish and fried meat with every bite. All right, so we're going to add in our blended kaya. All right, then. Ooh. It sounds beautiful. So we're just going to let this fry for a little bit, and then we'll begin to add the other things one after the other. My kaya is coming together really very nicely. You can see the specks of onion, tasei, tarugu, the sauran soup. So now I'm going to add my dry fish. Dry fish just is packed with this, so much flavor, and it infuses into anything that you make with it. So next I'm going to add my dodoa. So let me get a spoon. So add my dodoa. Dodoa is actually really good for you. So it's not just that, really strong flavor that it adds to dishes, but then it's got some really great benefits too. It contains protein, and of course that's good for you. So now to my Maggi cube. I'm going to be adding Maggi Niger pot today to this dish. There's just something about Niger pots. It has this fish aroma, there's the stockfish in it. So it will just intensify the flavor of your, your fish in whatever meal it is that you're adding it to. So I'm gonna add my Maggi Niger pot to bring out that bottom pot flavor of my signature Dafaduka dish. Give this a quick stir, and then I'll add my meat. So this goes in now very quickly. This has been cooked and fried already, so I don't need to leave this in here for too long. So now I'll be adding my beans. Yes. This is a very whole meal. It's beans, and then there's rice, there's fish, It's really balanced. It's the kind of meal that you want to have for iftar. It's Ramadan. You should eat healthy, balanced meals. All right, so this goes in. Beans is also rich in fiber. Some people are totally afraid of eating beans, thinking like, I'm not sure I can take beans, so this is Ramadan. But when you have it really balanced and like this is a mix with rice, and then there's fish. All right, so this is done. Okay, so now just a little bit of water because my beans and my rice has been boiled already, and everything here is cooked. So just a little bit of water. I'm going to cover the pot, and when we come back, I'll be ready to plate. The Dafaduka shinkafa wake is almost ready. I'm just gonna, up the flavors with a little bit of scent leaf, some curry leaf. And most people have this in their gardens at home, so you can just pull a few leaves out and get it into the pot. Just roughly chop it. All right, then, and some spring onions. So quickly get that in. So this is done. So I'm going to talk about spring onions when I'm adding it. All right, so take a look. All right, this is good. So now I'm just gonna quickly put it in my curry leaf and scent leaf, and of course my spring onions. It's almost becoming my signature, Just at the final finish to your food. And then it's crunchy, and then it's green, and then the colors. All right, so give this a quick stir. And we're done. Okay, this is done. It's done. Mashallah, my signature Dafaduka shinkafa wake is ready, and it looks so beautiful. I hope you'll be trying this at home. This is such a delicious, easy recipe that you can try and share with your friends and family this Ramadan. After all, Ramadan is a time for sharing, so don't forget to keep sharing goodness this Ramadan. Jazakallah khair for watching this episode of Maggi Diaries. And remember to follow us on our social media pages at Maggi_Nigeria on Instagram and at Maggi Nigeria on Facebook. See you tomorrow, inshallah.